Off Limits is the money podcast that blows up stereotypes, showing you that managing money doesn't have to be hard.
We want you to thrive, not only with your money, but in every part of your life.
What you will get out of this podcast is real, relatable, and relevant tips and strategies that you can apply today. Hi, I'm Donald Raymond, and this is
Christine Spiak. We are money coaches, business owners, and colleagues who are passionate about helping you become more of who you are. So if you're ready, join us.
More into the technology and the automation and a little bit more, I'll say the accountant mentality in me. It comes out because what we do is we just have one checking account. So we have three total accounts. We have a emergency fund, and that's a money market account in the same category as a high yield savings account. And then we have a traditional savings account, and that's our giving account. The spend activity is much more irregular. It's regular, but it's much less frequent. So we spend out of our giving account about once a month to our local church. And then if we have another organization that we want to support, that's where that money would come from, but only if that money is there. And so that helps us manage that. And then as Christine was saying, those are automated amounts. So once our emergency fund was funded, we stopped putting money into there. But now monthly, we continue to put money into our, or every pay cycle, we put money anytime income is received into our giving account, a percentage of it goes there, and that's an automatic thing. And then we have our primary checking account, and those are the only three accounts that we have. The checking account is as you can imagine, is a balance that fluctuates a lot because a lot of our savings activity lands there because these are short-term savings, right? I talked about like the maintenance on the car, the insurance payments. I talked about subscriptions that get renewed, and so money ends up accruing into the checking account. And being held there for a certain amount of time, usually less than a year, because those payments are gonna come out at some frequency. And so the way that we capture those is in our budget. Our budget is it's electronic. It's an application. We use EveryDollar, and we just set up the funds in EveryDollar. And one of the things that I've found is that for us, what we learned is that living out of the budget and not the bank account, that became an automatic way to protect us from overspending. And so as we operated from a budgeted perspective, and we were never really looking at our bank account, a balance, we were never tempted to spend the money that was in that bank account balance. And I started to find this was true with others as well. Not everybody, but for anybody that doesn't want to have multiple bank accounts, this is a way to do it with just a single bank account and just manage the funds in an accounting software or in a budgeting app. You could use spreadsheets if you wanted to, or if you wanted something more integrated and more like a database, QuickBooks is a tool that can be used for small business, but it could also be applied into a home personal finance situation. So we use, like I said, the EveryDollar app. There's others, and by connecting the activity, we're able to manage our accounts the same way. So in both situations, you're going to have accounts that are designated accounts for particular activities. Right, Christine? You've got separate accounts that are only to be used for those activities. Yours are bank accounts and mine are just funds on a spreadsheet. So this kind of speaks to something we've said before. You got to figure out what works for you in your situation and what connects with you the most. Are you somebody that just needs to have those separate accounts, or are you somebody that wants to have all their money in one place but can manage accounts in a more manual way, running it through a spreadsheet or an accounting software?
Right. What's going to be most successful for you? Yeah. And if you looking at your checking account balance and you see hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and that gives you a little excitement and you feel like, oh, well, I'll catch up next month. Oh, that expense is 11 months out. I'll just dip in a little bit. Well, then I would suggest put that barrier between you and your money and open up the additional savings accounts. But if you're somebody who can manage it on paper or through an app like EveryDollar and just move the money around accounting wise, then do it that way. Absolutely. More barriers that you can put in place are naming these accounts. Because if you're now robbing from vacation because you want to do something today, well, I think that makes it a little bit more challenging, because if you know that vacation that I've been saving up for, now it's going to put me further out from taking it, you may pause in robbing from that account. Something else that you can do that we talked about earlier was the automation piece of splitting up that direct deposit or setting up the automatic bank transfers within your financial institution. So the money is just going from your income account, your checking account, into the different savings accounts that you have. You can also have these savings accounts with no form of access to it, meaning no debit card, or it's in a different physical location. And because there is no debit card or checks associated with it, you actually have to drive there to take money out. Now, that may seem extreme to you, but for someone, that may be just what they need to put that barrier in place until they can have these healthy habits where now it's their lifestyle versus they're trying to achieve it. And then lastly, if you are using an app or your online banking website, hide those accounts from your dashboard so you don't even see them there. So these are just a few ways that you can put some barriers between you and your savings.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Off Limits.
Beyond the podcast, we are money coaches who want to help you.
So if you are looking for help managing your money, use the links in the description below to contact either of us and learn how coaching can help you thrive.
Lastly, please help us to spread the word by subscribing, leaving a comment, and sharing our podcast with your friends and family.